There's not a single person on this planet that doesn't walk around with a very, very low-grade, constant, chronic sense of guilt. We all do. How aware am I of it? That's the only question. Now, where does that guilt come from? That's a very profound metaphysical question which can be answered very simply. It comes from the belief that I'm no longer part of oneness. I'm no longer part of oneness. How did that happen? I must have done something. I must have done something. Because otherwise I'd still be part of oneness. Oneness is the truth. Oneness is who we are. Oneness is what God is, what love is. You name it. That is oneness. Why am I not part of oneness anymore? Why is my experience one of separation? I must have done something. And the horrible thing is I can't even figure out what I've done. So I'm going to come up with stuff. But not only that, because I come onto this wonderful little planet with the belief that I'm separate, otherwise I wouldn't be here, with that belief that I'm separate and therefore guilty, I'm going to find evidence for that guilt. So I'm going to start doing stuff. And everybody will say he's guilty. What do you think happens in our jails? The U.S. has a larger jail population per capita than any society ever in the history of mankind. Every single one of those people believes they're guilty. And I know the background people are saying, well, they are. They stole, they murdered, they did whatever, they committed arson, they raped, they plundered, whatever they did. Yes, they did all those things. But why did they do them? They did them in order to get evidence for a belief. So if I know who I am, if I know that I'm loved, if I know that I'm whole, it is inconceivable that I would molest a child. It cannot be done. I cannot conceive of that. It's not going to happen. It's not who I am. However, if I have a strong belief in guilt, I'm going to find a way to express it. I'm going to find a way to manifest it. So whether it means being unfaithful to my partner, whether it means running my business in such a way that I'm going to be slapped with a big lawsuit, whatever it is, I'm going to find evidence for my guilt. So as soon as I get in touch with the truth of me and I do my forgiveness process consistently and weaken my belief in guilt, I will no longer look for evidence. If I now look back on, say, 20 years ago when I first started doing this work, and all the shit I was pulling in those days in order to come up with evidence for guilt, it's unbelievable. It's remarkable. And there but for fortune go I. There but for fortune go I. I was lucky. I was lucky that I didn't do anything stupid enough to get me into real trouble. But that's pure luck. That's not for lack of trying. So the guilt level that we all work with is absolutely universal. Under every feeling is guilt. Under every upset is guilt. Under every sadness is guilt. Under every mourning is guilt. And that can only be true if you go back to what is the truth. The truth is oneness. The truth is wholeness. The truth is there's only love. The truth is there's only God. For lack of a better word, there's only God. That is the truth. Well, within that truth, there's no room for sadness. Within that truth, there's no loss. Within that truth, there's no suffering. Loss and suffering and mourning and sadness and anger and all those other wonderful human feelings and emotions and experiences come from the belief in separation. Now everybody can keep them. Nobody can take my sadness away from me. We had a person here a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago or so, who comes from a background of a lot of suffering, a lot of sadness. Her family had gone through the Holocaust. Her mom and dad were the only survivors of families on both sides. There was a lot of mourning and a lot of sadness. Nobody will take that from you. That's yours to keep. How does it feel? Is that why I'm on the planet, to experience that over and over and over? Or am I on the planet to say, I want to look at that. I want to look at who the I is that is suffering this level of loss, this level of sadness, this level of depression. Is that who I am? And if that answer is genuine and I keep inquiring, who am I will find that that is absolutely not who I am. And with that realization of that's not who I am, the guilt will go. But that's the inquiry that has to take place. Who am I? Who am I in truth? Who's the deepest part of myself? Where am I? Where do these thoughts come from? And these thoughts come from nowhere. They just come. I choose them based on who I think I am. But who I think I am is not who I am. So they come from nowhere.